Thank you so much for staying with us. I'm Juan Williams, in for Bill O'Reilly. And in the personal story segment tonight, an American contractor taken hostage by al-Qaeda in Pakistan 2 years ago says he feels abandoned and forgotten by his government, the American government. In a video released on Christmas Day, 72-year-old Warren Weinstein is seen pleading for his freedom.
9 years ago, I came to Pakistan to help my government. And I did so at a time when most Americans would not come here. And now, when I need my government, it seems that I have been totally abandoned and forgotten.
Right now, the State Department is still trying to authenticate that video. Joining us now from Washington with more, Fox News strategic analyst Lieutenant Colonel Ralph Peters. Colonel Peters, do you think he had a gun to his head when he made that tape?
Yes, and certainly he's feeling the pain of captivity. He's afraid. Nonetheless, you've got to put this in perspective. It is an al-Qaeda propaganda video. It's certainly not true that his government has abandoned him. I'll tell you, our government does everything it can, the intelligence community, special ops, to find hostages such as this. And by the way, Juan, all those NSA programs that Snowden said are so terrible, they're aimed at tracking as best they can a hostage like this. And I'm very sorry for this man and his family, but we cannot negotiate with terrorists. We cannot make deals with terrorists. We cannot change the security policy of the United States for one captured contractor. And oh, by the way, while the media is having a field day with this human interest story, there's another human interest story. Let's balance this al-Qaeda propaganda clip with some footage of our wounded warriors whose lives have been shattered, burned horribly.
All right,
missing limbs. No, this is important.
No, I hear you. I hear you. And by the way, I agree with you 100%. I agree with you. But let's stick with this story, because I think people want to know. You know, you say, we are trying. Are you convinced that the U.S. government is making an effort to rescue this hostage, Mr. Weinstein?
Absolutely. The intelligence community, special ops, trying. But to me, if you want to get this guy back, you got to bring heat on Pakistan, because just as I am convinced, having dealt with the Pakistanis, they knew all along where bin Laden was. I suspect the Pakistani intelligence services know where this guy is. Well, and if they don't, they could still help us.
Right, but we would be putting pressure there, according by your standard, if we're making a full-hearted effort to go and find him. The second question then to you is, Colonel, okay, what if the hostages, the people who've taken him hostage, ask us to negotiate with them? Do you say yes or no?
I said no. No, and I'll repeat it. No, you do not negotiate with terrorists.
So Ralph Peters is saying let him die?
No, Ralph Peters is saying try to rescue him. Do what you can. But you cannot change the security policy of this country. All those wounded soldiers, all the dead, did they ask for special treatment from our President and Secretary of State? Did they ask to negotiate with al-Qaeda on their behalf? No. Get it in perspective. I'm sorry for this man and his family, but my heart is with the wounded warriors, not a contractor.
All right. Now, we got a second story here on the foreign policy front, Colonel Peters, which is we've had 37 people killed in the Baghdad bombing this week. Most of them Christians, because, in two separate bombings, Christians have been targeted. We've seen Christians killed by extremists in not only Iraq, but this is going on now throughout the Middle East. Syria, Egypt, Iran, they're holding people. It's a war on Christians. That's what it looks like to me. What should the U.S. response be? What should the government, the military, the intelligence community be doing in support of Christians in the Middle East?
Well, begin with honesty. The Obama administration refuses to recognize that there is an Islamist extremist, a jihadi effort to finish the annihilation of Christian civilization throughout the Middle East. 2,000 years of Christian civilization are being destroyed, and the Obama administration says virtually nothing. Our embassy in Baghdad, in response to these Christmas Day bombings, said, oh, well, we deplore all loss of life. And by the way, Juan, today is St. Stephen's Day, the Feast of Stephen, a first Christian martyr. And on this day, Christians are still being martyred in the Middle East.
But, Colonel, are you saying start another war, and start a war that's going to have religious overtones, that it's going to be a war on Muslims?
Juan, Please replay what I said earlier. I never said any such thing. I said our government should take a stand, call it by its right name, and stop supporting indirectly or directly jihadis as in Syria.
But don't go after the people who are responsible. Is that what you're saying then?
Case by case, Juan. Case by case. There's no unified field theory for how to deal with the world. You take it case by case.
Man, this is a tough call. That's why we wanted you in here. Ralph Peters, thanks so much. Merry Christmas to you.